Audio Jungle.
Adventist Senior High School, Sewa Nyakun SHS, and Kumasi Anglican SHS. Meanwhile, beneficiaries of the Girls in ICT program expressed their gratitude for the opportunity to learn and develop digital skills. Interacting with the minister and sharing their first-hand experiences, one of the students, identified as Amasewa, said, "I never thought I could build a website or create a game," said Amasewa, a student from a basic school in the region. "But now I feel confident in my abilities and I know that I can pursue a career in ICT." In other news, a record of number 9,394 Ghanaians are studying in the United States for the 2023-2024 academic year. This is according to the details of the 2024 Open Doors report published by the U.S. Embassy in Accra. The embassy indicated that Ghana is among the top 525 countries across the world contributing to more international students to the U.S. for 2024, ranking 18th. The report showed that a total of 9,394 Ghanaians studied in the United States in the 2023 to 2024 academic year, which represents an increase of 45.2% and an all-time record high. The graduate degree programs in particular, Ghana was the 9th largest sender of graduate students to the North American country, with 6,337 Ghanaians studying in the country in 2024, presenting a 54% increase from the number recorded in the previous academic year. The U.S. Embassy also indicated that Ghanaian students earned scholarship worth $9.2 million to study in over 680 universities. Ghanaian students earned nearly $9.2 million in scholarships to go more than 680 higher educational institutions in all 50 U.S. states. The embassy wrote, the report also included that from the number of graduate students increased from 50,199 from 2022 to 2023 to 56,199 from 2023 to 2024, representing a 13% increase. In other news,
Audio Jungle.
In other news, Nene Sakite II, Colonel of the Minya Krobo traditional area and the President of the Eastern Region House of Chiefs, has added his voice to calls to fight illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey, in the country. He said the lack of political will to tackle the menace holistically was disappointing and disturbing. Nene Sakite, who made the remark in an address to mark the 2024 Biduguraza of the people of Digbe, Wohoi and B. Nyamigbe Peki, said one might think that the Galamsey phenomenon was quite distant from them because it was not happening in the Volta region. However, the health implications and adverse impact on the country's water bodies knew no boundaries. Consequently, the call on citizens to add their voices to efforts being made to draw public and national attention to the phenomenon. Nene Sakite called on the government to properly regulate the practice and make the approach to extracting minerals more sustainable and responsible. He said another concern was the seeming over-concentration of efforts on second cycle education at the expense of basic education. Nene Sakite commends the government for brilliant initiatives such as Free Senior High School, which had tremendously expanded access to secondary education, and their unwavering commitment to revolutionizing the country's education sector with a primary focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that's STEM education. He urged the government to give more attention to the deplorable state of basic schools, basically those in the rural settings. Our basic schools are critical. They are foundation upon which secondary and tertiary education are built. Without a solid base of foundation from the basic schools, the better future we are seeking to create will be difficult to actualize. Nene Sakite also said participant national elections were inherently divisive because of the differences in opinion, ideas, and policies, and more so when the processes were not well managed. In other news, Dr. Bosman Asari, Deputy Chairman of the Electoral Commission in charge of corporate services, has cautioned against voting for the late Ekweadonko, who appears on the 2024 presidential ballot paper as the flag bearer of the Ghana Freedom Party, GFP. According to him, the EC and all political parties have agreed to keep the late Ekweadonko on the ballot paper due to time constraints and cost factors regarding the elections. Speaking during a forum organized by the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, GACC, in partnership with the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, and with support from USAID through the International Foundation for Electoral Systems on the effects of monetization of elections in Ghana, under the theme Monitoring Campaign, Abuse of Incumbency and Vote Buying for Comprehensive Party and Campaign Financing Reform in Ghana. In Accra on November 15, 2024, he added that voting for Ediako will counted as annulled. We discussed with the parties that the time is very short and we have printed over 90% of the ballot papers. Considering the time, it is very short. You know, we have our senior lawyers, and when you look at our constitution, I don't think the presidential elections can be postponed. Our presidential elections, the way it is structured, the last day I think you can have the presidential and parliamentary election is on December 7th. So now all of us are raised to tell people that although Madam Ekweadonko's face is on the ballot paper, don't vote for Madam Ekweadonko, because when you vote, your ballot will not be counted. It will be annulled, he said. So please, I know you love Madam Ekweadonko, but this is not the time to show the love. The time to show love is there are 12 people vying for the presidency. Identify one of them. So the commission will continue to do sensitization that although she's there, she's not part of it.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
In other news, the Ghana Health Service (GHS) has recorded 7 fatalities, 47 confirmed cases, and 720 suspected instances of cholera in the central region since Thursday, 31st October. The occurrences have been reported in 8 of the 22 districts in the region, including Ewutu Senya East, West, Gumwa East, Infant Mine, Gumwa West, Aguna West, Cape Coast, and Chifuhima, Lawyer Dentra. While the gender of the disease remained undisclosed, the fatalities were recorded in Commander Edna Eguafo, Apre Municipality, Asin North, South, and Goma West District. The acting regional director of the GHS, Dr. Agnes Echiama Anane, disclosed this during a news briefing on the outbreak of cholera in the region on Monday, November 18th. She said the deaths were preventable as 4 of the patients arrived late at health facilities in critical condition, while 3 were already deceased upon arrival. The current situation has prompted urgent calls for preventive measures to check further transmission, emphasizing the necessity for the public to adhere to hygienic conditions and protocols that were widely practiced during COVID-19 pandemic. These measures include frequent hand washing, use of sanitizers, and meticulous handling of food and water, deemed crucial in curtailing the spread of the disease. Dr. Anane underscored the importance of seeking prompt medical attention at the healthcare facilities when experiencing symptoms like acute diarrhea and dehydration to reduce the likelihood of severe illness or fatality from cholera. Our primary concern has been the fatalities. The figures, yes, but the considerable number of them were brought in critical ill, signifying delayed care and attention, she said. Dr. Anane further implores residents to uphold impeccable hygiene standards and prioritize nutritious dietary practices such as they remain vigilant in keeping good environmental sanitation to avert the spread of the disease. She said the clarion call is for a unified and concerted effort from neighboring areas to effectively work to contain the disease. In other news, the Accra High Court has granted Pastor Love Hammond bail of 2 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. The following follows an application filed by his lawyer, Mr. Kwame, seeking bail pending a bail. The request was granted during proceedings on Friday. The court presided over by Justice Kitiza Kwashi ruled that the 2 million bail must be secured by landed property. Also, the judge ordered Pastor Love to submit his passport to the country, ensuring it does not expire before November 15, 2025. Despite the bail being granted, Angel FM reports that Pastor Love has been returned to his own prison as he has yet to meet the 2 million Ghana cedis bail requirements. In other news, a South African court ordered police to end a staff off with illegal miners and allow emergency workers to gain access to a shaft where hundreds were believed to be upheld. The court in Pretoria, South Africa, said an interim ruling that all miners underground in the mine of Stilfontein should be allowed to leave and no one should block their exit, according to the state broadcaster SABC. Yasmin Omar, an attorney who helped bring the case to court, told SABC that the ruling was a temporary order and a full hearing will take place next week. The ruling follows growing concerns about the well-being of the illegal miners who can spend months below ground after police cut off food and water supplies. On Friday, the South African Human Rights Commission (SAHRC) said in a statement it was investigating the police for restricting the miners' essential supplies. At least one decomposed body has been recovered from the mine, police said. The blockade of the Stilfontein mine is part of an escalating clampdown by the government and the police on the activity of illegal miners in the country. We've got about 6,000 abandoned miners in the country. David Van Wyk, a lead researcher at Johannesburg-based Benchmarks Foundation, told CNN that when large-scale companies and multinational corporations fail to properly close mines, they are less vulnerable to illegal mining. Others say the root of the problem is the high levels of unemployment and poverty in the country, which force local people in precarious and dangerous works. Now to business news.
Audio Jungle.
The managing director of Intercity STC Coaches Limited, Nana Akomia, has denied reports suggesting he supervised the sale of a company property to the Stadium Hotel in Kumasi. In a Facebook post shared on Sunday, November 17, 2024, Nana Akomia stated that the claims were unfounded and clarified that the Stadium Hotel is owned by the state-owned STC. The STC MD mentioned that the letter in circulation detailing the said allegations pertains to a tenancy agreement instead of a property sale as purported. Nana Akomia in his report also addressed the issue by emphasizing 3 key points. He said no managing director of the state-owned company, including STC, has the authority to sell the company property. He also says the Stadium Hotel in Kumasi is owned by STC, making it impossible for the incorporation or its management to sell it. The letter in question refers to a tenancy agreement between STC and the company's management and board. This agreement has brought substantial financial benefits. In other news, an Australian mining company, Resolute Mining, says it will pay Mali's military government $160 million to settle a tax dispute after the company's British boss and 2 other staff were unexpectedly detained 10 days ago. Reports say Terry Hoholan and his colleagues were arrested while traveling to the capital city, Bamako, for what they were expecting to be routine negotiations. Resolute, which owns a gold mine in Mali, said on Sunday it would pay $80 million immediately from existing cash reserves and the rest in the coming months. Mali is one of Africa's top gold producers. It is seeking to extract a greater share of income from foreign countries and operators in the sector. It is not yet clear when the 3 Resolute employees will be released. Part of the conditions for their release were that they must sign a memorandum of understanding and complete initial payment, according to a report by the French broadcaster RFI. Mali's military rulers detained 3 Resolute executives on charges of forgery and damaging public property, seen as attempts to blackmail the Australian company amid an ongoing state crackdown on foreign, mostly Western mining companies in the West African country. Since taking power in a coup in 2021, Mali's junta has sought to reconfigure its political and trade relationships with international partners. To sports news. The former Ghanaian coach Charles PrinceAlexKwameNkrumah has opened out about challenges he faced regarding player selection during his stint as coach of the Black Stars. According to him, there were times when officials from the GFA wanted to see a kind of players he selected to play for the national team. The coach claimed that the situation made him uncomfortable and created some problems with regard to his control over the team. Speaking in an interview on November 18, 2024, C.K. Akono noted that the interference from GFA officials in player selection for the Black Stars was worrisome. As a coach, you draw the list of players you want to use based on what you want to do. Obviously, other members of the FA would also bring their views on board, but it was sometimes uncomfortable. I understand they have to look into it and that football is not done by one person. However, in my case, it wasn't a situation where we were working together, he said. C.K. Akono was appointed head of coach of the Black Stars in January 2020, and under his management, the team played 10 matches. Akono's record followed 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. His winning rate stood at 40%, with an equal losing rate of 40% and a 20% draw rate. However, he has later sacked due to a poor run of results. The criticism comes as the Black Stars, under the watch of Otto Addo, have failed to make it the 2025 AFCON in Morocco, he says. Entertainment news.
Audio Jungle.
Popular Ghanaian actress, TV icon Nana McBrown has opened up about surviving 2 terrifying accidents this year, describing her survival as a testament to God's unending grace. Speaking during her ministration at the Worshipers Heart 2024 event at the Calvary's Charismatic Center in Kumasi on Sunday, November 17, she credited God's divine intervention for sparing her life. The first accident, which occurred in June 2024 on Accra Road, was particularly harrowing. McBrown recounted how her car somersaulted and landed in a bush, leaving her stuck in her seatbelt and fearing the worst. It was just me and God. I thought it was the end because nobody saw me. I was stuck in the seatbelt in a bush, she recalled, her voice shaking with emotion. Thankfully, a truck driver and his mate noticed her distress and rescued her before anything worse could happen. The second accident happened while she was traveling to visit her father in Kadi. Though she didn't share any details, McBrown emphasized her unwavering faith. The devil keeps plotting, but I know God I serve and he always comes through for me, she said with conviction. In other entertainment news, the Ghanaian gospel artist and songwriter Frank Tego, popularly known as Break Music, has thrilled fans with a sneak peek into his upcoming wedding. The talented musician, celebrated for his soul-fitting worship tracks, shared breathtaking pre-wedding photos on his Instagram page on November 18th. Accompanying the stunning images, Hewalela hitmaker penned a heartfelt caption quoting Joel 2 verse 25 to 26 to express his gratitude for God's goodness. The post quickly drew attention, sparking an outpouring of love and well wishes from fans, colleagues, and media personalities alike. Perez Music's colleagues and media personalities have left many inspired by his faith and joy, making the anticipation for his big day even more special. Church news. The International Vision Church, aka the Vision House Ministries, is presenting a conference with the theme The Workings of Prayer, taking place from Monday to Friday this week, and is happening at the Vision Life International Church opposite the Fastor Limited of the Malam Kaswa Road. Do not miss this program and be part of this wonderful program. It's taking place this evening, 18th of Monday to Friday 2024 of this month. Dear listeners, this is the end of today's news and was presented by your own presenter Sebastian Boas, aka the Morning Man. This news was proudly sponsored by International Vision Church and Alikia Kitchen Crafts and Floral Institute. To sponsor this new segment, kindly contact 024 519 3706 024 519 3706. You can also reach us on 050 302 7765 050 302 7765, or you can contact 0244 577 335 0244 577 335. Catch you here same time tomorrow here at 6:30 a.m. on Vision Live Radio. Have a blessed day.
Audio Jungle.